Hello and welcome to InvestorToday.ca. InvestorToday.ca is brought to you in conjunction with RBL Communications, your online IR specialist. Today is Tuesday, July 17th. I'm your host, Dave Glover, and today we'll be discussing Alexandria Minerals Corporation. Alexandria Minerals, which trades on the TSX under the symbol AZX, on the Frankfurt Exchange under the symbol A9D, and on the U.S. Exchange under ALXDF. Alexandria Minerals Corporation, a Toronto-based junior gold exploration and development company with one of the largest portfolios of properties along the prolific gold-producing Cadillac Break in Val-d'Or, Quebec. Global gold resources are distributed between three projects on its Cadillac Break property package: the Akasaba, Sleepy, and Oronada, the details of which can be found on the company's website at www.azx.ca. The company is currently focusing on advancing its Akasaba project. Agnico Eagle Mines Limited, with two gold-producing mines in the region, owns roughly 10% of the company. Since announcing its first national instrument 43101 compliance resource estimate at Akasaba in March 2011, the company has substantially expanded the gold-bearing zone through drilling both at depth and along strike, adding more than 100 meters depth to the deep high-grade zone and adding more than 500 meters length along the strike. The company plans to continue to focus on Akasaba in its exploration efforts. In a recent media release, Alexandria reported follow-up drill results from the newly discovered near-surface western gold on its 100% owned Akasaba project in Val-d'Or, Quebec. Joining me to discuss these results and current news is President and CEO Dr. Eric Owens. Hello, Eric, and welcome to InvestorToday.ca.
Thank you, Dave. Pleasure to be here.
Now, you've just announced some great new news from some drill results at your Akasaba project. Can we move right to that?
Yeah, I think that's certainly appropriate. We've done some really good work over the recent months here, in spite of the difficult markets we find ourselves in. The exciting thing about these recent results, and I'll get into the details here in a second, are that this really is a new sort of geological environment on this project, and it's an exciting new development for us because the host rocks are quite a bit different than what we've been traditionally working in there at Akasaba. And they are quite a bit different type of mineralization, big wide zones with low-grade gold.
Well, can we talk about the difference between the mineralization at the site?
Yeah. Historically, our work has been focused in the volcanic rocks, and while we do find some disseminated gold there, mostly the mineralization is characterized by narrower, high-grade veins, and we are very happy with those results. But this marks a little bit of a departure from that, in that these things are hosted in sedimentary rocks, and they form, rather than discrete high-grade veins, they form more disseminated repetitions of micro-millimeter-sized veinlets over tens, hundreds of meters in this case, a couple hundred meters, 150 meters or so. So it's quite a bit of a different type of mineralizing situation there.
Does it make it easier for one to get to the gold then? If it's a mineralization, is it sort of less congruous, or is it a more solid mass you're drilling through?
Yeah, well, it's early days, and we certainly have high hopes that as we can continue drilling on this target area, that we'll be able to find out more. However, it does seem to be truly disseminated. So far, we've delineated this zone over about 250 meters strike length, and down to a depth of about 150, 175 meters or so. And so far, over that volume, it seems to be fairly continuous. And the nice thing about this sort of style of mineralization is that it tends to be over broad areas, so that it's the potential for finding more is quite good in our eyes. In terms of ease of access, it's all shallow. It starts right at the surface, and as I said, it We've found it now down to 150 meters. It's open at depth, and it's open further to the west as we head more into the sedimentary rocks.
Can you tell us what your next step was going to be then?
Well, we'd like to continue drilling on this. We're really now thinking that we need to focus on this area because in just 5 holes, we've when you calculate the value of the gold and what else is quite nice here is the copper numbers that we're seeing there. When you calculate the value of these two commodities in these drill holes or in this volume that we've tested so far, we've increased our resources substantially from what we announced back in March as our official resource. So it doesn't take many of these holes to start increasing that volume of gold and other metals that are there.
Well, and that's the type of information that's going to pique the interest of new investors and help you retain existing shareholders, isn't it?
That's correct. And in these markets, the main reason for releasing news in these markets is, at a minimum, keeping your current investors up to date with what you're doing and showing them that you're doing some good work.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's all about maximizing shareholder value at this point. And when the markets are in a position like this, and there's only a handful of companies out there right now that are really doing any major exploration yourself. There are a couple of others that come to mind. But a lot of these companies have been really hit hard by this economic downturn. And I like to think that it really doesn't have anything to do with the company itself. I mean, you're still in a very strong position. You've produced some really significant results, especially the newest results you've just come out with. Do you have any kind of consideration as to what it's going to take to not just retain existing shareholders, but to help keep the volume up and to keep the price up?
Yeah, this is of course the $100 question, and at this stage in these markets, it's difficult. Everybody's in the same boat. It's whether you're talking about the largest mining companies or the smallest junior exploration companies. I think one of the things that the general investment public is looking for is, are you solvent? Can you raise money? Can you raise money to retain solvency? And that's basically the name of the game right now is can you keep the doors open? And we're certainly in a position to be doing that. And we have to move slower today than we had to a year ago. But in fact, we're in pretty good condition cash-wise, and we just keep plugging away, and we'll just have to do it at a slower pace than we'd like to until we do raise some money. And we're on that end. We are looking at we're in discussions with a number of strategic partners on both the equity end and property joint venture type end as well. So I think something will happen over the coming months here. On one or both of those cases. And
you know what? Those are the types of fronts that investors want to hear about. And they also want to hear about the excitement that the management team has. You guys are obviously extremely excited about not just the most recent results, but what you've got going on with the entire land package. I've been talking to Eric Owen. He is the president and CEO of Alexandria Minerals. They've got some wonderful news that they just released on the 11th of July, I believe, is when that news came out. Is that correct, Eric?
Yes.
So for those of you that are interested, the website is www.azx.ca. The company is Alexandria Minerals, trading on the TSX under the symbol AZX, on the Frankfurt Exchange under the symbol A9D, and on the U.S. Pink Sheets ALXDF. I want to thank you, Eric, for this time you've spent with us today. I know you're very busy, and I wish you continued success for this 2012 drill program.
Well, thank you, David. It's a pleasure speaking and just trying to get the word out.
Well, and that's wonderful. We're going to try and keep the momentum going, and we'll keep the investors excited. Again, the company Alexandria Minerals. I'm Dave Glover for InvestorToday.ca. Thank you for joining us.